minutes, I'm actually going to share with you the exact way that I actually got beamed big time in the market today. Because funny enough, like I was actually right on everything as far as directional bias goes, even trade really. Just that everything was just a little bit rushed, and it ended up resulting in me losing two trades instead of me winning. But in here, there are lots of lessons that you guys can learn and avoid for future reference. So listen up, and if you do find this educational, make sure to subscribe and like. It does help the channel out. So let's get straight into this, right? So today's trade really wasn't complex. In fact, it was actually quite simple. I looked at two setups. I saw gold that on the daily time frame looked like we could actually end up making a move a little bit lower. And really, the daily is bullish. I get that, and everyone will probably say daily is bullish, and why am I trading is bearish? But actually, if you notice here, this is what pretty much flipped my bias. We had this move here, right? That created an order block. We revisited the order block, came and actually broke structure lower and revisited here. So I was anticipating a move lower to at least sweep these significant lows on the higher time frame. So what I did was look at the hourly, which also happened to be bearish, just like the 4 hour, because we already established that this was a 4 hour break, right? And once I actually found that up, and I said, okay, that's actually a really clean setup. 4 hour bearish, visiting the order block again. 1 hour bearish, also really good. So at this point, I know that the 15-minute will probably not be bearish by the time I want to enter. But what I can do is anticipate the 15-minute break of structure by finding the 5-minute break of structure followed by some form of confirmation. So I could see the liquidity sweep that happened at session open right here, the significant 15-minute high, right, into this order block. So wait, this is an order block? Was fair value gap? Yeah, it was the order block before this expansion lower. And at which point I was just like, awesome, 5-minute break of structure. I'm just scouring for entries. The most premium area that I did mark out was actually this, sort of like this range here, because the reality is I wanted to enter all the way at this sweep because I was pretty much confident in this reversal. So I was like, the bias is reverse, and the 15-minute sweep at session open is pretty much a strategy that works relatively well on its own. So when I saw this sweep and retrace into the order block and reaction, I'm thinking, cool, we're good to go. But that's not what's going through my mind. What was going through my mind was, in fact, we have yet to break structure, and I considered this to be the first break of structure, which is why I sort of highlighted this area as my order block. But really, my entry point was exactly the highlighted area. But this was where we broke structure. This was the 5-minute break, at which point I was like, cool, show me enough confluence to actually enter so that I can go bearish. And the next level of confluence or necessary confluence that I needed was a bullish move and then a break of structure or breakdown of price lower, which was this right here. We saw price make a leg up and then invalidate this fair value gap with a massive engulfing. At which point I was like, okay, we're pretty much good to go at this point. Odds are we're just going to continue on lower like this. And this was the mitigating move. It just so happened to be that it wasn't. And had I say waited another minute or so, I would have completely caught this move because I would have seen the retrace into the top line order block, the very last one, followed by the sweep, followed by a break of structure, and pretty much entered same trade idea, just at the actual entry. But I had already reached my daily loss limit. So I was just like, I can't move anymore. But this would have been a really, really nice trade. This was a trade that I should have caught. And then the other trade that I got caught lacking on, which funny enough is pretty much the exact same case, but just on GJ, is and I hope you guys are actually finding this educational because it's like you're seeing how a professional person actually loses. And most of the time, if you notice that I don't necessarily lose because of deviation from the strategy as far as fundamentals goes, but it's actually just by rushing the entry and taking the confirmation at the wrong area. Sometimes you feel like you've missed the confirmation because you're already waiting for it and price is already going, but having the patience to say, cool, I'm going to wait and see that premium area get taken and my bias validated before I enter will change the game for you. So daily bias clearly bullish. We're still retracing. So I'm just thinking, awesome, we're retracing. The 4 hour is coming into an order block right here because this was a 4 hour break of structure. So what do we always say? if high time frame bias and low time frame bias are not agreeing, the low time frame is most likely going to be a inducement. So how do we identify an inducement? We identify the invalidation of that opposing structure so that we can go in the real direction, which is in line with the higher time frame. That may have been a mouthful, but if you're listening, this is pretty much as saucy as it gets. So with saying that the 4 hour is bearish, I need to invalidate that by seeing exactly what's going to happen at the order block. This is actually the wrong GJ. Actually, that was the correct GJ. This is a trade from another day. This was the trade from today. So this was the 4 hour order block right here, right? So the only way I can invalidate this is by seeing a low time frame hourly reaction from that order block and it getting ate back up by the market saying, cool, we're actually going to go on higher. This was just to induce sellers in the opposing move. Makes sense? And use them as liquidity. So what did I see here? I saw an hourly liquidity sweep happening here, at which point I said, cool, I'm ready to scale down and actually identify what's going on. Technically, I didn't see that. Sorry, this was the real trade. Similar. I'm going to get into that. So listen, market opened here at 8, and I saw this 15-minute sweep, at which point I was like, awesome. I mean, I'm almost good to go here. But the 15-minute not only swept, but then it proceeded to break 5-minute structure like this, at which point I was like, awesome, I'm good to go. And I pretty much entered on the low time frame validation and invalidation of the bear structure and validation of the bullish structure. So what do I mean by that? We saw this internal break followed by mitigation of the order block. I still didn't enter on this move. I actually entered all the way. Sorry, I did enter here. But the reason why I entered is actually because I thought this closed above the fair value gap. Had I not seen that, I would not have entered. But getting into it, I saw this close here, and then I said, cool, we're good to go. Because why? We invalidated the bear structure here, invalidated the bullish structure, so I'm anticipating a move towards the upside. Make sense? But instead, what we proceeded to do was not take my 5-minute structure as the inducement of the day, but take the hourly liquidity instead of this 15-minute liquidity and this order block right here. But we took this hourly liquidity right here and then broke 5-minute structure and literally went to all of my take profits in the span of one candle. And I was actually this was actually something that I considered entering on. And I just needed one more confluence, but price just literally ripped at 10 a.m. and hit all of my take profits. So I was just like, yeah, I'm definitely done for the day. But this is where I saw it. So I was like, oh, change of character. Ooh, mitigation into the fair value gap. And as I was about to enter, I just saw this massive move. I was like, whoa, what is that? And I pretty much ended up leaving it. And pretty much it went to all the take profits. And yep, that's that. As usual, I do send all of these out into the Discord, so you can go ahead and get that for free. And you can also get mentorship calls with me for free. So click on this link and get them while they last because, I mean, to be honest with you, I just want to help you. So if you're in a position right now where you're just like wondering how this trading thing is actually going to work for you and you just want it so bad and you're just obsessed, this is where you can actually get help because this is what I wish I had when I started out. Someone was actually willing to help me, not charge me money because I was deadbeat broke. And most importantly, actually get me to this stage profitable and not be a scammer. So yeah, click on this link. It's right on the description and I'll see you on the Discord and best of luck out there.